Hello and welcome to another edition of Fangirl Thursday. I am super excited to have you guys with me tonight. We have the amazingly talented, my queen of horror, Kelly Martin, with us tonight. Make sure you stay tuned through the entire broadcast because by participating and posting your questions and comments throughout tonight's live, I'm going to pick one lucky winner to win a paperback at the very end. So make sure you stay tuned for the entire show. And without further ado, ta-da!
Hello! I need to get a crown.
I know, right?
That's awesome.
It should be like black and dark and looking and yeah.
With yeah. I have an idea of what I want. I need to get that. It'll be on a to-do list.
Yes. That's what you need for your author pictures.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. A crown. Oh my gosh. So it's been a while since you've been on here, but you have been busy. You have been writing. You have a brand new release. And I have to say, if you guys haven't grabbed a copy of this yet, you need to. As always, Monster Ivy has outdone themselves. This book is absolutely gorgeous inside and out. I love all the extra little details that they put in. Love it. Love it. You can head over to monsterivy.com and pick up a copy of that as well if you guys haven't already. So tell us what you have been up to besides writing.
Oh gosh. Working, sleeping. But I love abandoned house hunting. It's like my big hobby. It's my favorite thing. So I've been going around now that the weather's not as icy and finding some new abandoned houses to take pictures of and some of my old favorites to see how they have looked different in the years since I've seen them. So that's what I do.
Fun. Have you you found some new creepy places? Have you found anything that's maybe inspired you to write a new story or anything?
One of my favorite places is kind of local, and it might, if you saw my Instagram story, it's that house, and it has inspired my not the last book I wrote, but the book before. I have two books written that I haven't put out yet. So the very first one that's still kind of going through edits, it's loosely based on that house. So
Cool.
it's not just me going around looking at houses, which is kind of there's a point to it.
Awesome. Awesome. I know you're a teacher. Are you back in the actual classroom or is everything still virtual for you?
Oh, we've been back since August.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, we went back the very first day of school. My classroom's never been virtual. Now I have some kids in my classroom that are virtual, but yeah, we've gone full stop from the beginning. Masks,
nice.
Head coverings, temperatures 3 times a day, cleaning 3 times a day, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah. But we're trying to keep everybody safe, so.
Awesome. Awesome. We do have a couple of people popping in and joining us. Hello, Melanie. Melanie recently moved, bless her. She sold a house, moved into an apartment, shopped for another house, found another house, moved into the new house. So she's been living out of boxes and it has just been crazy. And she's in Wisconsin. So on top of all that, she's got snow. So it has hindered her from getting all of her stuff from Michigan, where she did live. So hopefully this weekend, she's going to get the remainder of her stuff and be able to get finally fully moved and settled.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's had a crazy bit of time right now.
That wow.
it's been insane for her, she said. Yeah, we're buddies, so we chat a lot, and bless her, I don't know how she's gotten through the last year and a half and have any sanity left, and with 2 toddlers on top of that.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah,
Wow.
I
She
would be
needs
bald and just bonkers.
wow. That's wow. That's not all I can say. Wow.
We also have Mary joining us. Hello, Mary. I'm certain that your ears were burning because we were talking about you before we started the show. All good things, though. All good
Yes.
things. And I love your research style as well. I'm fascinated by those old houses and all that kind of stuff too. My husband's a little bit of a scaredy cat. He would never let me drag him into any of those things.
I don't go
Funny
into
story.
all of them. I
Funny
don't go
story.
into many of them, but I have been in this one that I probably shouldn't admit I've been into.
I like creepy places. And in high school, that was kind of a thing that we would do on the weekends is we would drive up to these creepy houses or down these supposed haunted roads, where the light appears behind you and things like that. And, I've seen some questionable things. Don't know what was real and what wasn't because, sometimes I would have had a little drink of something prior to. I was not driving, but sometimes there was a little alcohol involved. So I'm not going to swear to it one way or the other, but there was plenty of things that happened, and all of it could not have been in my head. But
I go abandoned house hunting sober, so I'm good.
well, I would be sober now doing it. I don't drink anymore, but not that it was a bad habit or an issue. I should clarify that, but. My husband's just he's a scaredy cat when it comes to that stuff. I love watching like a haunting, paranormal witness and things like that. And if
Yes.
that is the last thing on TV at night before he goes to bed,
Mhm.
it is a given that at some point I'm going to reach over and pat him and say, "It's okay, honey. Don't let them get you." Because he's going to have a nightmare and he's going to be swinging and talking into sleep about it.
Now, paranormal witness is creepy.
Mm-hmm.
There's some of them are just wild.
Yes.
I watch them if they're on. I'm more of a ghost adventures, ghost hunters. I love Paranormal State when that came on years ago.
Yeah, I
Years
remember
ago.
that. I loved that one. That
Yeah,
was a
that
good
was one of
one.
my favorites back then.
The Tennessee Wraith Chasers, they
Yeah,
did. I love them. Love
yeah.
them. First of all, can we talk about Chris and that man's arms? Sweet Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
They don't currently have a show on TV, but I have watched past episodes of everything that I could get my hands on. And
Yeah.
what I loved about them is they weren't afraid. When they heard something or they saw something, they went forward to investigate it. They
Yes.
didn't scream, they didn't carry on. I didn't have to wonder, did I see something? Did I hear something?
Yeah.
They took it that next step. And he was also very nice to look at.
Yeah, the ones they were the ones that tried to catch a ghost too, right? Was that
Yes,
them?
yes, they would always do that. Wherever they went, they would come up with a new invention, and they
Yeah.
would try to
I love Ghost
catch.
Ghost. Ghost
Yes, they
Brothers
are
was awesome.
hilarious.
If
They
it's
are
not still on anymore, is it?
just the old seasons and things. I don't think there's
That
anything
was
new,
my favorite. I could
but
sit
it's
and watch
available
Ghost
on
Brothers.
demand. So
Yes. I love Ghost Brothers.
I still work from home, so on my lunch hour, that's what I do. I watch either an episode of The Ghost Brothers, of A Haunting, or I'll watch Destination Fear, or
Yes.
I like them. They do a lot of screaming though, but I like them.
Yes.
Um, I also like Haunted Towns, which is another thing that the Tennessee Wraith Chasers did.
Mhm.
Um, all that stuff. So yeah, I watched an episode of something related to that category on my lunch
But you
hour.
know, Dark and Deadly Things, that whole series was inspired by Ghost Hunters, the TV show. Because I was
Mhm,
watching an episode one time, and Jay and I don't think Grant was there, but I know Jay was there, and they got this EVP, and the EVP was like this really, really angry ghost that was like, "Get out!" And
mhm.
Jay was like, "We don't think it has any malicious intent." I'm like, "I think it does."
Uh-huh.
So that whole 5-book series came from what if they did?
Oh my
What
gosh.
if something happened?
Yeah,
You know?
I'm addicted to all of those, and, whenever something loud and clear comes through like that, that tells them to get out, my husband and I always look at one another and we're like, yeah, we'd be so gone. It would
Yeah.
not have to tell us the second time. We would
Yes.
not have to hit repeat on the little recording device to make
Mhm,
sure we understood it correctly.
mhm,
That's the time to just go.
mhm. That's when you move on your merry way. You're like, yes,
Mhm,
sir. Yes, ma'am.
mhm.
Yes, I will go.
Have a nice evening. We're gone.
Yes.
Melanie says she has not watched any haunted movies or shows. She's not sure she could handle it.
There is a show, a YouTube show called Dead Meat. And what it is, they call it the kill count, and they count the kills in all our favorite horror movies is what it's called. But it's YouTube down. So it's like the synopsis of movies. So you get the high points. So if you
Mhm,
ever wanted, if you're ever curious about a scary movie, Melanie, check out Dead Meat on YouTube and see if they've covered it. Because then you can watch it, you know, in 30 minutes with your eyes like this if you're curious about how a movie would go. I
I
love it.
like the jump scare movies. I'm not
Oh,
one
I
for
don't
all
like to
the
be jump scared, which is
I
hilarious.
don't like all the gore and the yuck and all that. Like, what is it? Saw. I've never watched any of
Yeah,
those.
no, I don't like
I'm not.
gory.
I'm not in for the gore just to be gore. You know, I
No,
mean, I grew up watching the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and all of those. And I mean, that was gory back then, but
I
by
don't like
today's
torture
standards,
gore.
that's nothing.
Yeah, I don't like torture,
Yeah.
gory torture stuff. I don't like that. But I told somebody one time that I didn't like gory movies, but like Scream and Final Destination are like two of my favorite ones. So I mean, they're big gory, but not Saw gory. I don't like torture.
I still think about Final Destination whenever I'm driving down the road and there's a tractor trailer in front of me with all the logs or anything like that.
We were going to eat supper tonight, and there was a log truck in front of us, and it's Final Destination 2. And I told my daughter, I was like, "Oh, I don't want to get behind that." And she's never seen it. She's like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, I shouldn't say anything." But yeah, every time, usually I'll take a picture, like I won't be here, or especially if I'm in the passenger seat. If my husband's
Mm,
driving, I'm like, I need to take a picture of this because I don't like it. There's some
mhm.
things that just stick in your head, and that is
Yes,
one of them.
yes. Um, I learned from Friday the 13th that you never go anywhere alone, especially
No,
the bathroom. That's why we
no,
travel in pairs. Um, you don't go camping.
you don't become a camp counselor.
No, absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
We could
No.
make a whole list of things we learned from the horror movies.
Oh, I know. And things not to do.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. We'd be here all night doing that.
We could.
We
It'd
also
be fun.
had Crystal join us. Thank you for popping in. We appreciate it. I'm so
Zoe's
glad
here
you guys
too.
are with us tonight. Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your new release. It's Fake Nora. Yay! It is a middle grade horror and it came out on Tuesday. It's available from Monster Ivy Publishing. It is a wide release, so you guys can pick it up at all major retailers. If you look over in the comments section, you should see a link to purchase the book as well. So tell us a little bit about what Fake Nora is about.
Fake Nora is about, well, it starts off this girl named Nora, and she goes to an antique store with her mama because her mama likes antiques and old timey things, and she's looking for something. And there's this sign on top of a dresser with a mirror that says "Do not touch." And she touches it, and her mama buys it, and then hijinks ensue. It's not really a ghost story. It's a more of a doppelganger story about switching places. The reflection has switches places with Nora for reasons, and she's a doppelganger that feeds on fear. And she chooses Nora's little brother as her favorite meal. Just as fair, not as toes.
This one had a definite Stephen King vibe to me because of it being sort of twisted and having the other dimension behind the mirror, so to speak.
Yeah.
That was my immediate impression when I read this. So I really liked that aspect of it. It's a great read, and you know, it's got its moments, but it's not like over the top scary, and it's middle grade, so it's perfect. Anything else? Are you going to do anything else with these characters? I know I've seen some questions posted to you about maybe doing a backstory.
I don't know if I'm able to tell.
Oh. I guess I should have asked that question before we put on.
I don't know if I can divulge that information.
All
but
right,
people have been asking for more of a certain character story. Lots of people have been asking, and I don't suppose it's my place to answer that.
Mary, if you're still listening and you're still watching, we'd like a comment, please. We'd like a comment, Mary Gray. Paging Mary Gray. If you're still in the building.
There's nothing announced yet.
Wow. You know, I did know. I didn't mean to set you up for that. I really didn't know. No. You never know what scoop you're going to find here on Fangirl Thursday.
Right. Your scoop is I can't tell.
And there you have it, folks.
There you
From
go.
the lips of Kelly.
Oh, Mary says I can tell. Yes, there is another book.
I'm sorry, I had to have a coughing fit. You have to tell me again.
There is going to be another book in the Fake Nora universe.
Fantastic.
Yes, we are going to explore a little. This is going to be from Jesse's point of view.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what people have been asking for, so that's what we're going to do.
Awesome. So I'm going to assume it'll be next year and we'll get something new.
That will be a Mary question. I have no idea. I would assume
I know the publishing schedule is already pretty much planned for this year, so that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it wouldn't be this year. I would assume next March, but I'm not sure. But yes, there will be a Jessie book.
Yay! Kat and Crystal are very excited. Very excited. I am so excited. And we got a scoop. So now when I replay this, I can tease it that I had a scoop. Awesome. I'm trying to. There we go. There we go. Hello, Jenny. Thank you for popping in. I know Jenny was the one of the winners of the 5 giveaway boxes. Those look awesome. I'm jealous because she has the puzzle already.
Mm-hmm. I think you have another scoop in the comments.
Oh, there we go. March is a good month, you know? It is because
I think I'm the Monster Ivy March girl.
yeah,
Trinity
because
Rose came out in March. What Rachel did came out in March. Fake Nora came out in March. Jesse's story. Oh, wait, I forgot it already had a title. Never mind. I'm talking about the title. We'll get all of that, but I almost said it. But yeah, that'll be March.
Awesome.
I'm excited. I'm so glad everybody's excited. It would be sad. I mean, one, people asked for it before we even talked about having a sequel. People were sending me messages. I guess they were sending Mary Monster Ivy messages. They were on Instagram. We need more, which makes me feel good. It's better to be like, we want more than no. And then you don't want to announce a sequel, and then people be like, why? So that's awesome. It makes me really happy.
Yay, I'm so excited. Everybody
I'm
is
glad you guys have read it and want more.
Cannot wait. We've got more comments popping in. Thank you guys so much for popping in and posting your comments and participating. I appreciate that so much. Makes me so happy. So happy. We've got a couple of questions coming in too. Let's see. Here we go. Do you have any other books coming out this year?
I have a young adult book that I'm indie publishing that'll be out. I don't know when exactly, and I'm planning. I'm going to a book convention in New Orleans in October, which is like the perfect thing ever. And I have a table. They're going to have a vampire ball. I know. So I'm planning on writing sort of a twist on a vampire book and have it out at the end of September so I can have to take it down there with me. That's the plan. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. Nothing is set in stone. I don't have any release dates set in stone for the rest of the year, but I do know that there'll be at least 2, maybe 3 books the rest of the year.
Fantastic. Now, will these be standalones? Will they be continuations?
Yeah, these will be standalones.
Standalones? Awesome. Are they all going to be horror?
Yes, all horror, all haunted houses. 2 young adults and 1 adult. And you know, my adults aren't like
yeah, it's still clean.
You know.
Yeah. You're more dark and twisted than
That's
steamy.
Somebody put that on my tombstone. She was more dark and twisted than hot and steamy. That's me in a nutshell.
Nailed it. I actually heard about the event going on in New Orleans. April Baker reached out to me and she's like, "Are you going?" And I'm like, "Going to what?" And she's like, "Well, Kelly and I will be there," because I was so upset when I didn't get to meet you guys at Roanoke. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know. So I've put it on my calendar. I've told my bestie Charlene, and I'm like, maybe this vaccine will have made its way around and enough people will be vaccinated and well that you and I can go. Because I'm like, even though I have a compromised immune system, my doctor told me I'm like at the bottom of the list to get the vaccine. And honestly, I'm okay with that because I'm a little like, I know it's something they've been working on forever, you know, and that they really put a lot of effort and time and money into getting it out as quickly as they did. But at the same time, I'm a little like, I might need a little more research. So
I've already had both of mine. I've
I'm
already had both of
okay.
my COVID shots. Well, I'm a teacher, so
Yeah.
I went ahead and got mine.
I'm okay with waiting a little bit. And I mean, I'm working at home, and when I do go out, I'm masked up. I
Yeah.
carry hand sanitizer everywhere I go. And so, and this time of the year, of course, in the South, as you know, pollen kicks in. So I currently have a cough and a runny nose, and you're paranoid to go anywhere because you don't want to cough and people be like,
Mhm.
so,
Oh, I know. I know. Yeah, even though I've had both of the shots. I think I had my second one 2 or 3 weeks ago. I still wear a mask when I go, places and stores, and I still I still do all the things. So that's my sister. She's going
oh,
to NOLA with me.
hi, Kathy. Well, hopefully, I'm going to make it and I will get to meet everybody. Those of you who don't know, Kelly's one of my best friends. She just doesn't know it. We haven't officially met yet to like seal it and lock it in stone. But yeah, we're like this. We're like this. She just, yeah. Mhm.
It's true.
Everybody's so excited about New Orleans. I really hope that nothing happens and that it doesn't get canceled and that we do, get to have the event and everything.
Yeah, I do too.
Mhm.
It was supposed to have been last October, and then of course they moved it to this October.
Mhm. Kat had a question for you. Do you like writing young adult or middle grade more?
Ooh, ooh. Well, middle grade is not as long. The stories aren't as long, so that's fun. I don't know. I think I like going back and forth between them. They both have, of course, young adult, you have more romance in it, of course, but middle grade is, I don't know. I don't know which one I like more. I like it all. Let's say that. I like it all. They both have their pros and cons. The cons of middle grade is not making it too scary because you don't want to like traumatize people. So
Hmm.
there's a fine line between what you want to say and you don't want to give people nightmares. So
And
that's for young adult too, I guess.
After reading Heartless, it's hard to imagine you being able to rein it in enough to write middle grade. Because I read that and then having stalked you on Facebook and saw that you were just this quiet little Christian gal, I was like, holy crap, where did she come up with this stuff? So it's kind of cool that you can dial all back all that crazy you got going on and put together something a little tamer.
After Heartless, I had friends message me and be like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "It's not me saying it. It's the bad guy. You don't want your bad guy having good values." My mama was like, "That came out of your head." And I'm like, "Yes, it did." But Heartless, as weird as it was, is still. I think Heart is one of my all-time favorite characters ever, and I don't know why. But like, I cried when that series was over when it got finished writing it. And sometimes, like on my Facebook page or my group, my reader group, sometimes I'll just type in "I miss Heart" because I do.
Mhm.
The funny thing is, I was so proud after I finished Heartless that I hadn't made it a romance. But people had liked Heart um, so much, I guess, toward the end.
He was so horrible and he seemed so like how could anybody possibly redeem him and the fact that you did.
Well, yes, it was a misunderstanding. The reason he was how he was, two misunderstandings,
That
and
is the understatement of the year. Okay, that dude was twisted. He was off the chain Twisted.
Yes, but he had to be. He had to be to get revenge on somebody. There's a reason he had to be. But yeah, I was so proud that I had not made that a romance. And then people were like, and then I got to thinking about it, and other people got to thinking about it, and then I started writing Breathless. Not Breathless, Soulless. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then it ended up being this big, epic romance that I miss them.
Heartless was the first book that I read of yours, and I think
Oh, bless
actually
your heart.
I did the audio book first, and then I went back and read the book, and the narrator did such a fantastic job. I loved her accent so
Yeah,
much that as I read the book, that narrator was in my head through the entire series.
she did a good job. She couldn't do the rest of the series, but I'm working on getting Soulless put into audio right now. So hopefully that
Awesome.
my goal is for all of my books to be in audio.
Mhm.
So I mean it'll take some time because audio is not cheap. But that's the goal, is to eventually have all of them in audio.
Crystal says that she now needs to check out Heartless. Crystal, if
Yeah.
you haven't read that series, oh my gosh. Um, don't be too frightened of book one. Don't hold it against Kelly. And don't be frightened of her. It's really all I can
It's
say about that.
fine.
Don't be frightened of Kelly. We have another question popping in now from Mary. Were the personalities of Nora, Fake Nora, and Nolan inspired by anyone?
Oh. Not really, not specifically. Nolan is 5 in the book, and I teach 4-year-olds. So I pretty well know, how 4-year-olds. You know how some books, the 5, 6, 7-year-olds sound too old, or they make them sound too young, which is
Mhm.
equally kind of, it pulls me out of story. I don't know about you. So, like, Nolan's not inspired by my kids, but I'm around 4-year-olds enough to kind of know what language and things to use. Nora, oh gosh, not really. No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure she has some qualities of some of the qualities of all my kids. I have 2 redheaded daughters, so that went with it. And then Fake Nora had to be the total opposite of Nora. And Nora likes to use her imagination, and she's a good sister, but her brother annoys her sometimes. Like, I wanted her to be really real, not a two-dimensional character or just I don't know. I wanted her to have some depth to her. And I wanted Fake Nora. She's not been in the world since Jessie. So she had to totally learn how to be not in the 1940s, how to be a present day 12-year-old, how suspicious Nora's parents got because she didn't
Mhm.
know what to call them. And then she had to, I think it was interesting to figure her out because she had to navigate this whole new world for her. And she had no idea really what was going on. She'd never seen this stuff. And she had to make not the same mistakes she did with Jessie, get kicked back into the mirror. So she was trying, I mean, she had to eat. It's kind of one of these things. She has to eat. She eats fear. So she has to make people afraid, but she can't make them too afraid. Or, she's afraid she gets sent back. So that was that was interesting. It was fun. That was fun for her character arc. So it wouldn't. So she would. I don't want her to be a one-dimensional villain either. And it would be so easy to make her a one-dimensional villain because I mean she's as bad or worse than Hart was. I think Hart's more redeemable than her, but that's just me. But I wanted her to have this, you know, she could go in, she could scare her little brother, scare Nolan, she could do all this stuff, but she also had this, the balance of it was she couldn't go too far because she didn't want to be sent back.
Hi, Brandy. Thanks for popping in and joining us. I love everything about this too, Brandy. I saw Brandy's newsletter this week, and she shared your book in there.
Oh, did she?
Mm-hmm.
Yay! Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate that.
Okay, Crystal says that Fake Nora was the first that she's read as an arc. So, Crystal, have you not read anything else from Kelly? And if that's the case, Kelly, where would you recommend Crystal start?
Not at Heartless. I'm surprised you stayed with me. I appreciate it.
I love that series. I love it. And I mean, I loved the first book, but I read it and then I looked you up on Facebook.
I don't mind it.
And, you know, kind of, you know, when I meet an author and I go online and look them up, you know, I'm all in. I'm looking at past pictures. I'm looking at past videos. And you were just this sweet young little thing. And I'm like, holy crap, where did she come up with this stuff? And so it was just, I don't know. I just didn't picture it coming out of your head, out of your mind. It was just, it didn't all fit.
It takes all time. But no, I would,
awesome.
Thank you. It's one of my favorites. I would start, if you like series, I would start with Dark and Deadly Things. That starts off weird too. I think the first line in Dark and Deadly Things is, it's a strange feeling in life to be watching your ghost hunter dad live on TV while eating popcorn next to your dead mother.
Yes.
It's the first line. So I would start with that one. If you want to start with a standalone, I would start with Trinity Row.
That's a good one.
Trinity Row is, I love Trinity Row.
What is the age for Trinity Row? Because she says Kat, which I'm assuming is her daughter, read what Rachel did. So I'm wondering if she's younger.
Trinity Row, there's nothing bad in it. It's a Monster Ivy book. I would say that if you can handle the content of what Rachel did or Fake Nora, then Trinity Row would be fine. Mm-hmm. There's it's a little scarier, especially that bathroom scene. But there's nothing, I wouldn't think. I would let my 10 or 11-year-old read it if they wanted to.
We get a thumbs up from Mary as well for Trinity Row. That was a fantastic book. And that cover is phenomenal. Yes.
Is it not? I love it.
God. Love it. Love it. I think it may have been the first book that I won from Monster Ivy. I may have discovered them because of you.
I think you did. I think you went through all the Heartlesses right when Trinity Row came out.
When that book box came out for Trinity Row, I have never worked so hard in my life to promote a book so I could win a box. And I still have the first box. I have it on my shelf. I still have all the stuff that came in it and everything. And I keep all the little things that they put in there. And I have a larger box that I keep everything in. And when I do my Instagram posts and stuff like that, I go to that box and I pull out little things from it so that I can use it, you know, to make the cute little pretty little Instagram pics and all that kind of stuff. I love it.
They have some awesome. Oh, right.
Oh, I make no secret about it whatsoever. I stalk and I stalk hard. I have probably watched things about Kelly that she doesn't even realize I know anything about. And the best one is when your kids got baptized and the little man rode by in the boat. I thought I was going to die. And I mean, no disrespect when I say this because I'm a Southern girl. I thought if that's not the most redneck thing I have ever seen in my life, is a man riding by on this boat in the middle of a child getting baptized.
So my church, they have a baptismal spot where the old church used to be. It got, they put the dam in, it flooded the old church, a bunch of other places, but the old church. So there's this like road you can follow to go down, and it's an old Southern holler road at the lake. Yeah, two of my daughters got baptized. Was it, yeah, last year, year before? No, year before last. Last year doesn't count. Year before last, and yeah, there's just this guy going by the boat. He did stop. He was very sweet. He stopped and took off his hat, and you know he was very respectful. But yeah,
That was the best thing ever. That memory has like stuck with me. I love it. I do. I love it.
yep, that was a time.
All right. If you guys want to post over in the comments any additional questions that you have. Also, if you do not have a print copy of Fake Nora, I have one print copy left, and I am giving away one copy at the end of tonight's show. So in order to qualify to be entered for my little drawing, you need to do two things for me. Make sure you've posted a comment throughout the show at least once. And if you do not have a copy of the print book and you want one, please tell me so in the comments so I'll know who is interested. I want to make sure that it goes to someone who doesn't already have a copy. While you guys are doing that, I have a couple of quick questions for you. We're going to jump around a little bit because some of these we've already answered throughout. You write all these horror books about all these scary things, mirrors, bathtubs, attics, basements, those kind of things seem to play a lot into your stories. There's usually at least one or two of those aspects in each of your stories. So my question is, what scares you?
Mirrors.
Mirrors.
I like mirrors.
Has anything ever happened that made you not like them?
It's not a phobia or anything. I can look in mirrors. I just don't like them. There was this episode of Twin Peaks when I was little, and there was this girl. It was a commercial, but I can't watch Twin Peaks. But there was this girl, and she had a really pretty purple shirt, and I love purple shirts. I love purple; it's my favorite color. And she reached toward the mirror, and then the reflection of the mirror reached out and grabbed her, and that was it. Like there's mirrors all around my house. Like I'm not super terrified of mirrors.
Right.
If I had I don't know what be like my big main thing that I would be scared. Haunted houses, Halloween haunted houses. I don't like those.
I was gonna say, is your house haunted?
Yeah, I will go in a real haunted house. I live here, and I've been to Waverly Hills, and I've been in other abandoned haunted houses. But I don't like Halloween jump scare haunted houses.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Who's your favorite middle grade author?
Mary Down in Haunt. She writes spooky middle grade books. She was the first spooky middle grade author that I ever read, and the first book I read of hers was Took. And then I found all of her other books, like What Helen Did. No, Wait Till Helen Comes. What Helen Did. Wait Till Helen Comes, and The Girl in the Locked Room. She has really, really good books.
I have The Girl in the Locked Room. I'm saving it for closer to Halloween because I like to do scary books for my October blog. I have read one of our other books, and I can't remember the name of it, but it takes place at like the beach or something, and it's a girl and her cousin and her aunt, and they're staying at the beach, and this girl keeps showing up and hanging out with her cousin, and she's not a nice girl.
I think that's Wait Till Helen Comes. It might not be. I'm sure a lot of them have about the same storyline.
I can't remember the name of it. I've reviewed it. I can't remember the name of it though. I don't think that's what it's called. But anyway. And I grabbed her because I've watched you on YouTube and she was one of the authors that you recommended.
I love her book.
What's your favorite middle grade horror book that you've read?
Ooh.
The excitement.
Yes. Talk about things. This is the last one that I read. I'm reading The Fear Zone right now, but this one is Hide and Seeker by Dacta Herman. And I just read it, and this one is so good. Like, it deals a lot with like facing your fears and your fears. I always say my favorite part about writing horror is externalizing internal fears, and that's this book in a nutshell. It's this like monster thing that they have to fight their fears. Really cool. Really, really good. Really good.
Awesome. I wrote it down on my list so I can go and look for that.
Good. I went through it really fast. I think I read, it only took me 2 days to read it, and I read like 150 pages in a day, and I don't normally do that. I just kept flipping. I needed to see how it ended.
If something is really good and I'm really wrapped in it, I will stay up all night long and read. It doesn't matter that I have to get up the next day and go to work or whatever. Just last week, and I seem to always do it on Thursdays because I get so amped up after doing these, the excitement and everything, that I to chill out, I'll go to bed and grab my tablet or grab a book to read or whatever, and then I'll get all into it and I'll stay up all night long reading it. So I'll read one book a week, but it's because I read the whole book in one night.
Well, we had been out for it. We had 3 snowstorms in like a week, and we were out of school for a week. So I read this one and another one that week while we were off.
What was your favorite book that you read in 2020?
Oh gosh. Look. What did I love in 20? Oh, hold on. I know
your bun is adorable. It's cute. I love the bun. Me too. That is hands down my top read of 2020 is The Girl at the Hanging Tree by Mary Gray. Guys, that book is awesome. It's a clean, edgy read because it's from Monster Ivy Publishing. It's an adult book, and it has some major adult themes in there as far as dealing with the occult, dealing with racism, the Ku Klux Klan. It touches on so many hot topics, but holy crap, that book.
I could not put it down. Like I just, like I would read a little bit and then I would go back and read what I read because I wanted to. I just wanted it to keep going. I love this one. I think
Crystal agrees. Girl at the Hanging Tree. I read it as an ARC last August, and I have not stopped talking about that book. When Christmas rolled around, I gifted it as copies to some of my girlfriends that I knew liked to read as well. And normally, I don't really do that often because we all kind of have our different styles of and what we like and everything, but I didn't care. I told them they all needed to read it, and that's what they got for me for Christmas.
Yeah, I had told Mary I'd bought it, and she was like, "Oh no, I hope you like it." I was Yeah.
Brandy's got a copy of it. I remember Brandy commenting on one of my posts because I've talked about this book so much and her making the comment that she needed to get it. I'm so excited that you got it, Brandy. You need to take the time to read it. That book is just, it's so good. I can't wait until it's available in audiobook so I can enjoy it again.
Yeah.
It
It's
was
really good.
really good, really good. And it wasn't planned, Mary. You saw it. That was spur of the moment. We didn't plan it. And the appraise is very much true. It is a fantastic, fantastic book. So what's been your favorite book for 2021?
Oh, Hide and Seeker. Definitely. That's gonna be it's very high on the list. I've
What
not
is
read a
on,
whole lot of books this year, but so far, definitely Hide and Seeker.
what's on your TBR list currently?
I'm reading a book called The Fear Zone by K.R. Alexander. It's
I
a
like him or her.
it's
I don't know
very
what it
middle
is.
grade. It's a boy. It's a
Okay.
guy. He writes fantasy under one name, and then he writes this under K.R. Alexander. But it's another book. It's a middle grade horror book, middle grade spooky book, and it's about dealing with fears, which apparently a lot of middle grade books do. I'm reading it, and I'm reading Ink by Jonathan Mayberry. Um, I'm reading The Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. Yeah, that's it.
I've read The Collector by K.R. Alexander. That was one that
Yeah,
you recommended, and I enjoyed that one a lot. That's a
there's
good
a
one.
sequel called The Collected, and I can't remember if I read that last year or this year. I read it recently. It follows her little sister.
Oh,
Yeah, because she doesn't remember what happened in the first book. The little sister don't.
I'll have to check that one out.
Hmm.
Cool, cool.
I think I liked it better than the first one, and I like.
Oh, I like the first one a lot. I'll have to check
Yeah.
that out. Now, I saw a post where you mentioned that you have an upcoming interview for a NBC podcast or something. What can you tell us about that?
In I think it's coming out May the 1st. It's called the Sheila Mack Show, and she has like 1 million views or something. So I'm gonna have to, I don't know, learn. That's why I was freaking out with the light. Not that I don't want to look nice for you, because I really, really do. I didn't succeed, but I'm like, I'm gonna have like nicer lights. I need a microphone. I need some stuff. But yeah, it's on her podcast, and then it goes to all the NBC affiliates who want to, put it out into the world. So
Is awesome. How'd you snag that? Did they just contact you, somebody locally
it
from?
was a friend of a friend who knew a person type of deal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. You'll have to make sure that you post more information when you find out how we can all listen to it.
Yes.
And
And
that
I have
is
to get that headshot. And I'm excited too, because you are my first stop in my interview roundtable.
oh cool.
I have like a press tour for this book, which is
You're
cool.
so fancy.
I'm fancy. That's me. I'm just so fancy. It's why my hair's in a bun.
But
Fancy.
the bun is adorable. When you turned around to get a book off the
Oh yeah.
shelf, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cute.
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, I'm Jen Lowry. I'm gonna be on her YouTube channel. We're taping it this Saturday, and then next Saturday, there's this 11-year-old, and I'm gonna be his first guest, and he's gonna interview me for his Facebook page. So I'm
Awesome.
super excited for that. He was on his local news for having his own like book page.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm super excited for that. and
That
then
is
the
amazing.
NBC affiliate thing, and then some more maybe popping up. So, you
Well,
know,
I'm so excited that you're gonna be on NBC, but I got the scoop of all scoops.
that's true. What else can they get?
That's right. I got it all. I wasn't even trying. See, that's the sign of a good journalist right there.
That
When
is
you get it
true.
all and you didn't even try.
See, I wasn't going to give you any information, and Mary said to.
It helps when you stalk not only the author, but the publisher, the people who own the publishing house. You got to get all of them.
That is true. You got to get it all in.
We did have a question pop in from Brandy. She loves haunting stories and has experienced some stuff. She wants to know, what about you, and have any stories that have inspired you as well.
I live in a freaky house. It's just weird. We have things happen a
It's
lot.
haunted. Go ahead. It's haunted. You've seen a ghost.
I don't want to say it.
I mean,
Yeah,
she's not malicious or anything, but you've seen her.
that's what we were talking about before. When I end up dead in my bed, it's because Lynn said it wasn't malicious. But yeah. Have I told the story about
It doesn't matter. Tell it again.
okay. Well, my youngest daughter doesn't know this, so nobody tell her. But one morning she come jumping into my bed and she was like, Mama, I know you love me so much. I'm like, yeah, I do love you so much. And she's like, do you know how I know? She's like, to preface this, she sleeps at the top of a bunk bed. The top of a bunk bed. So so she came in there and she was like, I was crying last night and I knew that you knew that I was sad. So you started rubbing my feet and I looked down and I saw you standing there and you were rubbing my feet. I said, oh, did you see me? And she's like, well, I saw your shadow and you were rubbing my feet. And I got so calm and I went back to sleep. That wasn't me. But, we have a nice ghost. I've never told her that wasn't me. She'll find out someday because that's all over the internet. But when she figures it out, she's gonna be like, "Oh darn!" And yeah,
Wasn't
there's
there,
been some other weird stuff. My
wasn't
cat.
there, wasn't there an instance when your husband told somebody to go to their room or something and they were
Yeah.
already in the room? See, that's the story I was thinking of. I mean, I've
Oh
heard
yeah.
the other one too, but that was the one that popped into mind.
Yeah. She our kitchen and living room and dining room is open, and then there's a hall that goes down to the bedrooms. And my middle daughter was in the living room, and we were in the kitchen, and he's a lot taller than me, so he was standing here, and I was standing here. So of course, he could see over my head. And she had gotten in trouble for something, and he said, "I told her to stay in the living room." And I was like, "She's in the living room," and he's like, "No, I saw her running down the hall." And she looked up and she was like, I'm right here. And he looked at me and I looked at him. I was like, you saw her too? He was like, nuh-uh. That had to be one of the other girls. They're redheaded. They're not little blonde girls. My middle daughter's blonde. And he went in there and they're like, no, we've been here. And I was so excited because I'd seen her before. But he didn't believe me until he saw it. And then he started researching. See, the main part of my house is way over 100 years old. It was renovated like 41 years ago, but the main part is really old. So yeah, the first time I ever saw her was I was in the bathroom getting ready to leave to go to school, and my kids were getting in the car, and I was grabbing something I forgot. And my middle daughter come running down the hall, and she has blonde curly hair. And she come running down the hall, and I said, go get in the car. And she never went running back down the hall. And I was like, no. No. And I went and looked, and she was still in the car. So that's the first time. That's been a long time ago.
Have you ever done any research to see who she is?
No, I don't want to know. I'm afraid if I talk to, well, I do talk to her sometimes. I'll say, hey, if you're real, do the dishes to make me know you're real. But she's not done anything yet. But
Well, she's
no,
like most children. She doesn't want to do her chores.
right? I have heard dancing up in the attic, like you know, the old like not clogging, that would be weird. But like just like heavy boot dancing.
She's square
Upstairs.
dancing?
Like men's boots.
Mm.
And the people who lived here before us was telling us some wild stories that happened to them, which they didn't tell us before we bought the house. But yeah, apparently their daughter had named them. There was a guy, there was a tall man, and there was a little girl, and she named them. I don't know their names. I don't call them names. Just they live their life. We live ours.
Charlene, thank you for popping in and joining us tonight. Hopefully, Charlene's my bestie that I was speaking about earlier. We will make it to New Orleans to see you in October. Fingers crossed everything goes well and everybody's healthy and doing well. At least there'll be no pollen in October. And hopefully we will make it to see you at that time. I'm so excited. So excited. Let's see if we have any additional. We do from Brandy. She has similar stories. Oh, you guys need to talk. Definitely.
I wonder which story she has that's similar. The nanny ghost or the little running girl ghost.
You guys should definitely talk. And if you haven't read any of Brandy's books, you should check out Deep in the Hollow, because it's actually based on like an urban legend from an area where she lives.
Oh, I have that on my Kindle.
Well, you need to read it.
I do. I do need to read it.
I read
need to
it.
get the paperback, so I'll make sure.
I read it last year and actually had Brandy come on and so we could talk about it. And I've bought the series. I have her old paperback covers. She recently got them redone and they look so amazing. So I'm going to have to get all new ones too. But yeah, I've been working on the series. I haven't gotten past the first one yet just because I've had so much other stuff going on, but it's a really good series. I enjoyed that first one. She said, yeah, the running girl.
Yep. Seen her twice.
Well, guys, if you want to post any additional questions that you have for Kelly, whether they be about her books, whether they be about her haunted house, her proclivity for wanting to go out and wander around old abandoned houses, whatever it may be, go ahead and post those over in the comments for me. Also, I am giving away a copy of this paperback of Fake Nora tonight. This book is stunning, both inside and out. Monster Ivy always does such a fantastic job with these books. They look amazing, and you need this on your shelf. It is open to both readers and authors. In order to be eligible to win, all you have to have done is posted a question or comment throughout this interview. And if you will also go in and post a comment that you would like to receive a copy of the paperback. I know a lot of you guys that were in here tonight already had a copy of the book, whether you went ahead and bought it or you got it as an ARC. So if we do have anybody in here that doesn't have it, be sure and let me know, and I will gift one of you this copy. If not, I'll hang on to it and use it as a giveaway over in my author takeover page later next week. But again, if any of you guys don't have it and want it, make sure you comment. Yes, Crystal, the Monster Ivy books are always so beautiful. even if it's one that I haven't had time to read yet, I always try to make sure that I go ahead and buy a copy of it because they're just so visually stunning and so aesthetically pleasing that I have to have them on the shelf.
Cammy does such a good job with the covers.
Yes, 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 she does. All the books, it doesn't matter what the genre is, they all look really, really great. And the covers really nail the tagline or the point of the story. She does such a great job with that. Did you have any input? Did you give her any ideas for this cover?
No, we wanted it to sort of look like the what Rachel did cover.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Not that it's like it's a totally different world. It's just a middle grade, spooky
Mm-hmm.
middle grade. That's the only thing that's similar. But we wanted something that you could tell it was in the same genre, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I didn't. I was so excited when I got the email that was like, you know, what do you think of the cover art? And I was like, oh, I can't wait to see it.
I love the cover of What Rachel Did, and I
Oh yeah.
have made comments to Mary repeatedly that she needs to find a way to get that on a shirt so that I can buy it because I need that in my life.
It's really pretty. And I think the fake Nora, I mean it goes
Mm-hmm.
with it, but it's a totally different.
And that inside title page too has that really pretty
Oh
um,
yeah.
scene from the book as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was
I
like,
love
how do
that.
you do that?
I
It's
know, right?
amazing.
Awesome. It is awesome. Well, I don't see any additional questions coming in, but you can post them after we end this. We can always pop back in and Kelly can take a look at the comments afterwards and answer any questions that you guys have. Also, the book is still up for grabs. If anybody wants a copy of it, just post in the comments and let me know there as well. Hopefully everything ran smoothly with this and it posted over to my personal page as well. I did check the comments over there a couple of times and it looked like everything was finally pulling over correctly over here. But if you are on the personal page and I skipped over you or I didn't mention you at all, it's because it didn't pull over and I didn't see it here, but I will be going back after the show and double checking on the personal page to make sure that if you posted a question or you commented that you want the book, that it will get counted as well. So I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. You guys had great questions for Kelly. I had an absolute blast doing this, as always. I love having you on here. I can't wait until we can finally meet in person. But tonight,
Hey, I know, me too.
I know. And congratulations on Fake Nora. And hopefully I'll have you on again this fall or winter when you have something coming out again. And most assuredly, you will be back next March when we get to talk about your next middle grade book with Monster Abbey Publishing. You guys got the scoop right here if you joined late. If you've read Fake Nora, then you know there is a character in there by the name of Jesse, and he is getting his own book. We get to find out his story next March 2022, and that will be coming from Kelly and Monster Abbey Publishing yet again. I am so excited for that. I cannot wait. And you guys heard it here first. You got the scoop right here. Yes, Charlene, they do an amazing job on all of their books. I am just, oh my gosh, all of them. They just look so fantastic, so fantastic. Again, thank everyone for popping in and posting your questions tonight. You made for a very fun event. As always, Kelly, it's fantastic to talk to you. I love hanging out with you. We really are best friends.
We are.
You guys
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I enjoy having you on here so much. You guys have a fantastic night. Kelly, you have a great night too, and I will see you all next time. Bye.
Ah.